Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So today I want to talk about, how we often will have an event that's coming up, and we'll package it in a nice little box, tied up with a pretty little bow, and it's done this way because we sort of have this idea of how we expect the evening to go, right? Could be in a good way, it could be a negative way. Either way, we've given this evening a lot of thought. It's a big evening, or maybe it's not even a big evening. Maybe it's going to be a fun evening, but it's going to be a special evening in some way, shape, or form. And so we sort of say, okay, this is how the evening is going to be, and we put it in this little box, and we, tie it with a pretty little ribbon, which I've already said, and then the evening progresses, and it is either exactly what's in the box or sometimes the exact opposite. Something untoward might happen and totally derail the evening. But what happens is we give all this thought ahead of time to how the evening's going to go. So we're thinking in the future. We're not living in the present. We're not enjoying the natural buildup or the excitement as we get ready for the evening. We're not, we've already just put ourselves there. And we are already living in the future. So all of these other things that might be happening in the present, we're missing altogether. Then when we get to the event, we're comparing what's actually happening in front of us to this preconceived idea that we had in our head before we even got there. And so again, we're kind of missing the present because, even though we're in the present, we're comparing it to some fictional alternate universe present. And it just doesn't make sense. So, and it comes down to expectations, right? I'm telling you, that needs to be the word for me for the year. It wasn't how it started out, but it's definitely the word for the year. Because as soon as we start putting expectations on things, not only do we see it as everything unfolding in a certain way, but we don't leave room for something else to come into it, right? We don't leave room for something magical to happen. We don't leave room for, if everything's going to go in a crappy way, we don't leave room for something good to happen. We're so focused on what that preconceived idea is going to be. So it just doesn't make sense. And what I'm finding is that I'm able to more and more just stop running the scenarios. I am like the scenario queen. I am the scenario queen. You can give me a situation, I will be able to run for you at least 5 or 6 different scenarios. No problem. Not one problem. I could probably run 50 or 60 scenarios. But that's all that mental bandwidth for what? Because then I missed everything that's happened in the present in all that time that it took me to think about all those different scenarios. The only time that I do find value in running scenarios is when I do it so very quickly and it comes to a safety sort of a thing. This is the best case scenario. This is the worst case scenario. Okay, where's it going to fall? It's going to fall somewhere in the top third. That's how my life works. It's almost always in the top third. Never is in the worst case. And when it's in the worst case, on those rare times that it is in the worst case, there are some beautiful either lessons to be learned or outcomes that just naturally happen from the worst case scenario. So even then I'm blessed. But when we put all this energy into these scenarios or running scenarios, just let it be. Let it develop as it's going to develop. Let it have a natural growth and leave it open on all sides of the box for something unexpected to happen. And yeah, that would be so much fun. And it'll just keep creating new energy. And I love that. Anyway, that's my musing for the day. Hope I didn't complicate things too much for you. Have a great night.